Alright, part 3. So I've lined up all of the trucks, so this way we can take a look at each one, and then we're going to push them through that cave, which is narrow in some spots and has a lot of challenge opportunities. And we'll see how each one does. We'll see what we eliminate here. Again, same rules as the first part. Wherever they fail, they stay. As long as they can make it through on their own power, then we'll go ahead and allow them to proceed. If they can't make it through on their own power, then they just stay where they are. I am not going to be able to get any cranes in there, so if we do get stuck somewhere in the path, I'll probably just utilize super strength to move the vehicle out of the way. So the first one we have here is going to be that GMC Square body. You can get this in a few different configurations. I'm going to turn on the heads-up display for parts of this. I want to look at some of the options the vehicles can do, so things that maybe some of the controller configs can do with it. Additionally, I want to take a look at the log on some of them, just see if there's any errors. A lot of these, you'll see the errors when you're in the menu purchasing them. It's probably the easiest way when you get one of these. So we'll take a look at some of that as well. Do you notice, so I have a PlayStation controller, so you'll see kind of bounce around between Xbox controls and PC controls because I also have a keyboard. You notice with this configuration I can hide body, which is pretty cool. This does also have a pickup truck bed you can put on instead. Because I do really like this. It's very detailed. It's a worker's truck. It's something you probably would see on a farm somewhere. Not that you wouldn't see the others, but this one's kind of common that you would just have just a workhorse you'd keep there. So here's console log here. See some of the errors for previous ones that we've worked on. This is when I redoing the game. You see various other mods that I have in there. But so we'll keep the console up as we kind of go through these configurations, just see if any of them error out. This will happen if you have too many configs or if there's a mismatch or something along those lines. So try to just kind of bounce around through them. No issues. It's pretty solid, so let's look a little bit at what we can do. Do have, like I said, the regular bed with the body that we've been using. The tires are a little bit smaller. I do like the bigger tires, especially for this map, but it is pretty cool. You can put more standard stuff on there. Nice, you can put the flatbed body on it too. It's very helpful. A few different engine choices. Not crazy horsepower, but as you saw in the first part, don't really need it. It's been able to do everything we need to. We'll see how it kind of tows things though too. Do like the difference in body style, so we can have like that kind of dirty body style, essentially that kind of stays dirty, that it can't do anything with. A lot of different configurations on the side steps, snow plow. Like I said, you can change it between Chevy and GMC. Yeah, whether or not it's got the forestry options on the back, like the light bars, and then it doesn't have a normal license plate configuration. It's just got this license plate, which that's okay. Their color choices, let's go into them. Oh, I guess we do have a normal license plate as well. So interesting. All right. Pretty good set of configurations on this one. So let's see how it does. Turn up the head, the HUD for now, just to kind of get that out of the way. Just makes it a little bit less distraction as we go through this part of the map. So we got to go over the cars on this piece. So if you didn't see the first video that kind of went through this the first time, I'll re-explain it this time as we go through it with this truck. Go up through this rock section. It looks a lot steeper than it is. It's really not too bad here. Definitely better than the craters in the first part where there's just like that huge crack in the ground. Gonna hug the wall here. Oh, a little bit of uneven terrain there. Truck's pretty quiet as well. We're out of the cab and we can still really hear it. This part's really narrow, so this is where I think I'm going to struggle with some of these trucks that have wider wheels, but we'll just take it easy and see how we do. Silly tree limb. Again, narrow through here. This part's a little bit tough. Open over. I know I'm going to get asked this question in the comments. Yes, this map is available for all platforms. It is a lot of fun. It's also a pretty tiny file, so it's a very quick download. It's a really fun map. It's great for testing anything. So if you want to test mods, you want to test out vehicles, or if you want to build a farm out of it, you can do that too. This part's tricky as well because you got two different paths you can go. You can go up the left, but you're kind of on an angle. You can go this side, but you got to cross that area that we just did before that tree. Bunch of different logs. None of them are really a straight across path, so you kind of gotta just figure out what works and try not to get stuck. This truck doesn't really get phased by anything we throw out at them. Got another crater down at the bottom. I think this one, just like the first, is deep enough that it will total a truck, so we're going to stay away from it. Great way to stay away from it, but that looks like that left side is pretty shallow. I don't think we're gonna make it up the right side. So I'll kind of stay where these cones are. Use that as a symbol. These lights are very bright. As you can see, I turned one, it looks like it just switched instantly to daylight, so got good lights on this model as well. That wasn't too bad. It's a little bit steep, but if you kind of do it right, you'll get on top of the barrels here. Come out to a clearing here in a moment, but it's going to be another very narrow path. The right-hand turn. And really careful here, otherwise you fall completely off the edge. Don't do this right. And this narrow part's gonna be pretty important. We're almost to the end here though, not too much left. Another little cavern we'll go into. Right, and then we just got to go around the little water feature here. Not too deep right here. There you go. We'll go over these rocks, over the logs, and over the bits down here. And just through the tires, through the stumps, through the next round of tires. Not too bad. Alright, so that has made it past this. It's into the tow section. So we'll grab the next vehicle and see if we can make it up here. Teleports on this map are fantastic. Jump you right into where you need to be. So we've got a few mods left to run through. Take a look at each one and bring them through the course and see what makes it. So next up we have the first TLX 3500. See the interior here. Got a passenger with me. Looks good. Passengers sitting where they need to. Additional passengers for the back. Good mirrors. Very detailed interior. Shifter works. It's going really well. Sounds good. Not too loud and obnoxious as we go towards the back here. Do have straps. This is the flatbed option. It's a good looking truck. So we're going to spawn in something here because I want to take a look. We just use the store delivery mod. That's what that orange bar was. So what this is TLX fifth wheel winch. What this allows us to do is to put a winch on anything with a fifth wheel. It's really designed for tractor trailers. However, what's pretty cool is you can put this on the back of a pickup truck and give yourself a winch as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pick it up. Right on the back of the pickup truck. Goes with the motor out towards the driver. Always. So you go in and you attach it. Put the hot on just to make it a little bit easier for you so as it attaches, and then you can move it around. So I'm using a controller, so I'm just using the controller commands, but they'll be in the F1 menu for whatever you need to do. You can place it wherever you want, height, back and forth, all works really well. There is one tricky part when you do it on a pickup truck. It's just that it's the same key binding to grab the rope as it is to lock the straps. So just something to be forewarned about. It's a little bit tricky if you do what I'm doing here, but it does work out and it is worth it. So we can also adjust that tow hitch as we saw, and we can lock the straps. This does have a gooseneck hitch that is 100% still usable even with this this TLX winch attached to it. So pretty much you just make a very utility vehicle when you do this, which I like to do. This will work on anything with gooseneck or a fifth wheel in the back of a pickup truck. This isn't exclusive to TLX mods, it's just easier to display here. A lot of lights with this thing too, as you can see. The light colors are configurable. So you can see they're very nice looking. Again, I'm not worried about the conflicts with this one because it did go through Giants testing, which is going to be a lot better than I test it. So I know that it's already error free and will work on whatever we throw at it. So we'll do this one kind of in first person for a bit here because have so many TLX 3500s to spare. I really didn't expect them all to make it. I expected them all to do different with the tire configs and with different bodies and everything along those lines. I didn't think they would just not have a problem going through it. But I will say I'm not surprised. It's a very good truck. That was one of my favorites on 19. So it's the tricky part where you gotta stay to the left, otherwise you fall into the unforgivable Crater Lake right next to me. Through here, don't hit the tree. Go through here, try not to roll. Straight through this area. Through rocks. Still good visibility. And this thing has some pretty big tires on it. You can still see very well for what you need to do, which is really nice. I do wish, it's a small gripe, but I don't know, maybe it's something we'll get in 25 or later release, but it'd be cool if you could actually see your legs and hands, especially now that we have character styles. Make it a little bit more realistic. Especially because what's interesting is if you're in the passenger seat on a lot of these mods, you can see the driver doing things. So it's just really just a third person camera modeling thing that they could put together. I did mention it before too, in the first part. I did notice an issue with a lot of trucks that have passenger. So I like passenger because I like to film inside the cab. You'll see that in a lot of my videos. I just think it kind of looks cool. You can have the passenger film the driver so you can get a view of the driver while they're driving. There are many mods that are out there, third party and on ModHub and everything along those lines, that you actually can't see the driver from the passenger seat. It just looks like a ghost is there. I would show you, but like I mentioned, I'm doing this all on single PC because my second PC literally got 2 frames per second when I tried to film it. So I'm doing this on one PC's camera. But I've seen a lot, and probably have seen it in some videos. You'll see it in some of my shorts where I'm like driving around in the Jeep and I look over at the driver's seat and there's just like nobody there. So this bothered me. So I looked into it quite a bit and I found models that worked. In particular, the TLX 2020, the older model, worked perfectly for it. You can sit in the passenger seat and see the driver. So I started figuring out, well, what's different? And there's literally one line in the XML file, which is the camera minimum distance. So camera minimum distance for that passenger. So underneath the passenger section of the XML, there's a camera, and there's a minimum distance in that. If the mod has 0.5 or lower, so I know like GTX uses 0.3 in his passenger script mods, but the mods that I've seen that work on vehicles, they use 0.5. Those are all fine. That minimum distance 0.5, you can actually see things within 0.5 of you. If it's higher than that, it doesn't work. So I messed with this a little bit, and I changed it on a few mods, and when I did it, every single one of them started to work. So what that means is, best guess, someone put in a 1.5 at one point, and then other modders who wanted that same functionality copied that mod and did it. And I know this for sure because the XML is identical. The tabbing is identical, the spacing is identical, the variables are the exact same thing. So, not positive who built the first one, but whoever it was, they built it, they wrote that XML section, and then it got reused by everybody else. And so if everybody reused the same one, they had the same bug, which is pretty interesting. So roll over. So I've fixed it on my local copies to give it a try, and it actually works beautifully. So I'll use that when I'm filming. And I've reached out to some of the modders that I know, just to give them a heads up in case they want to change it. It seems to work. I might look into something where I can change them in a script or something as well, just to correct it. But we'll kind of get there. Either way, small bug, but really only affects if you are using passenger and want to look at it. So no surprise, 3500 made it through without an issue, which is good. So put this in the winner of this phase circle, and we'll head over and take a look at the next mod. We'll use the teleporter again. It's pretty cool. You can actually put these teleporters on any map. AlienJim just kind of built those in. Alright, so we've got the next three are variants of the TLX 3500. The first one's Monster Truck. Nice looking monster truck. So it's going to have similar functionality of the last one that we looked at, except it's lifted a lot. We do not have a gooseneck hitch here, but we do have tie-down straps, which is pretty cool. We do still have a license plate. Got a tow hitch with a drop bar, so we can put that pretty low. If need be, this will tow bumper pull things, which is good. Got quite a lot of power. Turn on the heads-up display rather. This way we can take a look at just if there's any advanced controls. I believe it's just the drop hitch on this one. Try to get a good shot of that. There you go. Pretty low. I don't know why you would have it high. I don't know what you're towing up that high, but I appreciate it either way. I'm gonna keep it kind of down low like that. Turn the HUD back off just to keep it out of the way for now. Usually I have the HUD toggle mod, which allows me to just use key binding for it, but I had a lot of issues setting this up, this video, and I had to remove a majority of my script mods just because I didn't want them to have conflicts. Script mods are interesting because they usually run either when you first load the map, which means that if there's a vehicle on there that it doesn't like, it'll just crash, or they'll load when you go into that vehicle and have one, so like exhaust extension, for example. One of my favorite mods just gives you a bigger cloud of smoke. Looks cool and everything. It only works though if you have exhaust on the vehicle. So if you don't, it's kind of a thing. And it'll just crash because it can't calculate anything. So this being a lot wider is going to make it very tough to get through all of this. Be really careful through. Alright, that was quick. I did expect that to happen, I did say that before. Those tires in particular are probably the widest that you can get on that truck, so yeah, it's not going to work out too well for us. Teleport back out. Alright, so we got another 3500 here. This one in Lamborghini Orange. Configured this one dually. It's kind of a style you'd see. It's also one I kind of like the look of. Passenger script on this one as well, obviously. I say passenger script. It's where it works with the Kubota passenger extension. Do have the winch already in this, painted to match. Lots of lights, same functionality as the last ones. This does come in single cab and crew cab. I do like the crew cab a little bit more. There are a lot of times I'm playing with 4 or more players, so having the ability to bring all of them with me for doing something, especially if it's a big 4X map, is really convenient. So it's going to be a little harder to use than the Monster Truck. You see that flickering in the bed is just because I have the winch a little bit too high. I never adjusted that, so the winch is moving. It's not actually the truck, it's the winch that I have. So I gotta ask on this series, why this map? What am I doing that is helping me determine if a truck is good on this, and why am I doing that? Well, based on the way that I play and what I use the pickup trucks for, or vehicles in general, I use cars and trucks for a lot of things. Some people use them just for transportation. I tend to use them to like as my main work vehicle on a lot of things. I need them to be able to tow. If something gets stuck somewhere, I need it to be able to kind of detach part of the implement from the tractor and like just grab a pickup truck and go get it. So I need them to be pretty versatile. I need them to be powerful enough to tow anything too if I need to move equipment. So let's talk about each phase of the test and kind of why I picked them. First phase with the precision is very important because it's going to make sure that if you're driving on a map that's got ditches or any type of issue or anything along those lines, like the truck's going to be alright on that. It's not going to cause any huge issues, especially when recording a video or something along those lines. Like, it's just going to be easy. The second part, the part that we're in here, with the tight spaces and everything along those lines, if you do have to get something from the woods, obviously that is a good test for it, but it's also good for any of the smaller maps. We're talking some of the European maps. Spaces are a lot tighter. Things are less open, so you need to be able to kind of fit in places pretty well. And a lot of these parts like this are really helpful when you're doing logging. You're doing more of like a start from scratch or something along those lines. It's just helpful to kind of get around an area where you're kind of cutting down wood and setting things up. So that's always helpful. The next part, the towing part, is probably the part that I'm most interested in seeing. These vehicles are going to range wildly. I hope I can say this actually. Yeah, you can see there. This one's pretty easy to back over, which is good. So towing part, I like to be able to bring whatever equipment wherever with the pickup truck. I do that because the pickup truck is faster than tractors. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to save this. I don't want this to be the place this one does. Kind of sad it's made it so far. Okay. Alright, so what if we give it a little bit more speed and try to jump this area? So yeah, so I use the pickup truck as a speedier mode of transportation. So if it can pull things, bigger equipment, a mother bin, or something along those lines, it's going to be helpful just to get things to the field quickly. Get things, get people, transport things back, tow trailers with equipment on them. A lot of times by me, the way that real life agriculture works is you'll tow things with a pickup truck between fields and things along those lines. If you're helping a friend out, you might put equipment on a trailer on the back of a pickup truck and kind of tow it. So having that power and the speed and everything is going to be really good for transporting stuff. So I want to test that out quite a bit. I think that challenge is going to do really well to kind of figure out what's good at towing, kind of how everything works. And then the last bit with keeping straight while towing with a heavy load. So a lot of times you'll tow with the truck and it'll kind of like pull to the left because the front wheels will get completely pulled off the ground with the way that they're weighted. So by testing towing on uneven ground where it's got to constantly correct the tires, and we'll do that with the easy dev controls basically locked while we're on essentially speed bumps at really high speed, and we'll see if the truck can kind of keep a straight line. So what's important about that is you really just want to make sure that the weight is balanced properly with the hitch and everything along those lines. So we're going to test all that out as well. Like I said, all this kind of comes together to basically tell me a truck that will work in any environment, any map that I throw at it. Whether I'm in an American map like the Mississippi River, or I'm in one of the European maps where the spaces are a lot tighter, like Compton or one of them. Definitely flipped the wrong way here, so I'll have to turn back around. These are just these. Every TLX that every taillight TLX that we've done we've tested has been really well. This is the finish line here with this one. We'll go back and I believe the next one's another TLX Monster Truck. Not gonna have an issue, which is interesting. So tires did not matter on this particular one. Now, because we have different tires on this beast, we will be able to see if tires matter at all on the X3500. Imagine they might. These ones are a little bit narrower, hopefully. So maybe we won't get stuck in that same spot. Not really sure. We'll take a look at it. So identical to the ones we've already tested. It's a really good looking truck here. Got one of the camo liveries on it. With the copper any top bed. This would be unique if you saw it come down the road. It's with function, right? We wanted to see if these tires made a difference in this, especially when they're not designed. I think that's something the goal of these tires. Really not too bad so far. I remember we just crashed one of these a minute ago because I fell off this bit, so it's just as easy. It is very tight. The tires seem to grip it a little bit better though, and they don't allow them to slide off the edge. The weights on these mods are also really good, so if you do end up flipping, it's pretty easy to get the vehicle back up, right? Just hard in a lot of models where they're not quite weighted as well. as we get through this bit, up here. All kind of situated. We'll say as well while we're going through this part here. If this series does well, and there are new truck mods that come out, I will test them in a similar fashion. It's going to be a lot easier to test each one when we are just doing one at a time. So I'll keep this save game. We can always jump back into it and kind of test out whatever comes out, which would be good. I think hopefully for 25 I'll be in a better spot where I can do this type of testing earlier. So this way I'm just testing just the new mods as they come out. And I'll probably modify the test a little bit by then, but we'll have something good. And that'll kind of allow me to do some vehicle testing, which I think would be kind of cool. Yeah, we'll just go around way up here. It'd be too hard to go down that other path, so just take it from the top. Yeah, so this way I can kind of, now that I'm caught up, once this is done on the mods that are out, I just really got to keep an eye out on new ones, and then I'll test them out. When I started this project, I thought there'd be a lot less than there actually were, so I was really just thinking mod hub, but when I expanded to basically just saying, I'll just search the internet for trucks, it opened up quite a lot of vehicles out there to test, which obviously pass through. So that's what made these videos long. It's really like the test itself probably for each vehicle is probably about 40 minutes for the entire vehicle, 30-40 minutes. Additionally, if I was only testing one, I could do Steadicam, which would be nice, so I wouldn't have to do it at regular speed. I can speed up a lot of the parts of it. I just don't want to speed up for you guys here on this one with one camera because it's going to be really jumpy. So I felt it'd be a little bit too challenging to do for the viewers to be able to kind of keep up with things if the camera's bouncing around and you got to read the subtitles at the same time. Alright, just 3 left here. We've got Monster Truck, Ford Monster Truck, and another TLX. A slightly different version of it. So let's take the TLX first, just because we just did one, so it'll be a little bit easier. Kind of talk through it. I think this truck doesn't get as much attention as the 2022 or some of the other mods that AlienJim's released. Just because this one was out on 19, so it's lived its life for some people. But I will tell you, it's doing fantastic here. None of them really being eliminated, not going to be too much of an issue for us. The width is perfect here, so we don't really have an issue. Again, took the bed off this one because without the bed, it's a bit easier to see how the wheels move and everything along those lines. I just have to be careful, otherwise this will be the first TLX 3500 variant that actually gets stuck in one of these areas. I think it's you run into that problem a little bit where my confidence up a little bit too high and then it doesn't work as well as planned. over. Logs are definitely tricky. It's hard to show here because they're all different lengths and all going different directions. It's pretty challenging at this point. It's kind of stuff. Still save it. Just gonna cut across the crater here. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. Hopefully. Apparently that was a pretty big problem. Because we're stuck. Like stuck bad. I can't even rotate this at all. I think we hit it just perfectly that we're stuck on the two trees. And we're at such an angle that I can't even get the wheels to touch anything. It's such something enough to do anything about it. I'm really trying here, guys. It's not liking it. Alright, just two left. Especially that we've eliminated two out of this. So, first thing we have here is this Ford model. This thing has broken gauges and everything. If those are issues with something different, we'll just kind of go through the configs here. There aren't many of them. Just on headlights. And then we've got paint colors. So headlights, we really don't seem to do anything. We got these cool. Okay, now it's like pumpkin or Ninja Turtle. Actually pretty cool looking. That's what I would do if I owned this thing. It's bright chrome red. Nice looking truck. Really nice. I was wrong on every time I talked about this, by the way. It's an F800, not an F700. That's pretty good looking. Yeah, we'll take that config. Alright. Much louder than the other ones. It's not a bad thing. It's not too loud like that one truck we tested. I legit had to drive it in first person, otherwise it sounded terrible. So we'll see how this one plays out. I'm still surprised this went through the first. Like, I know it's got big wheels and everything, but I just expected it to be a bad model. It's pretty convincing. Go very careful here, through this bit. Not really having too many problems with this, which is good. Tight space here. Doesn't seem to mind too much. Didn't completely roll or anything like that. First person may have been a poor idea. It's not doing its best in that, but we are making it through. That's not good. Maybe we can kind of fall back down the edge and save that. There we go. Go through the crooked sticks here. Don't believe it's going to have a problem. Not too bad. Guess it's all pretty easy. Probably won't have an issue here with barrels, or really anything else for that matter. Seems to be very confident. I got that tricky right-hand turn. Not really an issue. Sent it a little bit too much there. Do it backwards from that. Winning is winning. Might have to do that one forward just for the approach angle. You'd think the back would have a better approach angle, but apparently it doesn't. Alright, I'm just gonna go over the goofy tires and wood pieces. But it did make it. Let's put that over here. Just drive through the entire line while we're at it. Okay, next up we have, and last up, I believe. Thing's pretty good. Alright, so this is the one that sounds obnoxious, but it does have passenger support. It is still a monster truck. It does have that goofy tow hitch that is only usable by a gooseneck, if I remember right. So it's a tow hitch, but it's really a gooseneck hitch. And that's alright. It's massive, as you can see with me standing in front of it. Looks like the monster truck out of GTA or something along those lines. Got exhaust stacks, very tiny ones. This is a gas engine. All good. Take a look at the configurations. We just really have color. Lots of color, but just color. We can't really change anything else about it. So let's just make this look a little bit goofy. Just on purpose, just this way we can kind of see what each color does versus making it look good. Like Ninja Turtle colors, that's okay. Cool. Then we do have a license plate as well. So yeah, we'll keep it like that. It's the last one we're going to put through here, so we might as well make it look good. Again, with the weird hitch, it works like a gooseneck, so you can't put a regular piece of equipment, at least I haven't found a way. But you can put gooseneck hitch on there. Passenger support looks good. Again, I'm invisible, but it's the way that it works. It is interesting because they do have vehicle mods where, like the wheelbarrow or something, where you stand and you can see yourself. So I don't know why you can't see partial of yourself. It is what it is. Alright, last one's we're going to go relatively quick to try to fly through this as best we can. This truck is very fast. Very good as well. And this does have all-wheel steering if you need it. This all the way up and through. I'm worried because of how wide it is already. We're seeing issues. So with this part, we might struggle. Probably should have went to the right there. That might have been easier. Maybe I can go up and over this though. I'm just not worried about it. Come on. Just gonna hug this wall for dear life. Hang on to it as best I can. Didn't go. It's not dead yet though. I can save this. I can just drive back up and out. Come on. Come on. Okay, Still not dead. Luckily there's a rock down here and this thing's very tall. The engine's not yet. I'm actually not really positive at what point it does trash the vehicle. You should just get to a certain depth where the engine is. And it goes. I also don't know that the snorkel actually does anything. Maybe it does. That's actually pretty cool. Might clip that for a short there. Alright, so we go around this way. This path looks like it'll be a bit better if I just take it nice and easy. It's a bit tight up there, so maybe we can just go up and over. And then just drive over the entire mountain. Just cheat the whole thing. I'll cheat the whole thing. Okay, that didn't go well. Alright, so that's it for those cars. Unfortunately. So, that's where we're going to leave off this part of the challenge. We have the Silage trucks that did make it. We have these two that failed. We have the square body Chevy. And we have the Ford F800 square body from 1980. So we'll be putting those into a towing challenge in a little bit here. And going from there.